over it. It's just a little simple thing. Kids are going to be kids. The kids are going to do, let me tell you what little boy's going to do. They're going to get a bicycle, and they're going to build a motherfucking ramp and try to figure out if I can jump over this car. That's what's going to happen. They're going to try to jump off the roof. When I was a kid, we played Superman. My mother had a 2-story house. We put a fucking mattress on the ground, all 7 boys. We dove off the roof one by one. Sure, I broke my wrist, but that's what we do. They put a cast on it. Tomorrow I'm back out. Maybe need 2 mattresses. That's what children do. We're going to go to Queens, and we're going to talk to Sincere. What's up, Sincere?
Yo, what's going on now, Foxxhole Radio? How's everything?
Hey, everything's going great, brother. How you feel about this bullying situation in our government and our teachers and parents disciplining these children?
The way I think about it is I am only 29, but you know I grew up in a strong household. My mother is Jamaican, so you know she didn't really play that bullshit. So you know if she found out, quick short story, I got jumped. My mother said, "What did you do?" I said, "None. I took my black ass home." She said, "Okay." She hopped me in the car. I had to go out there. She circled the block for these niggas. I had to fight every single one of them. Next thing you know, me and these niggas are friends for 10 fucking years now. That's the thing. So I never understood why, bullying and, these kids killing themselves. I think it's a combination of the parents being weak, teachers not giving a fuck, and these little niggas ain't got no friends. I mean, excuse my language, but that's the way I think about it. So, I mean, I just think it's just soft. Like, people just, too soft. Back in the day, you go in the back of the yard, they had an issue with somebody, you fight it out. Next thing you know, young niggas is friends sharing a slice of pizza together. That's the way I think.
That's back in the day.
That was fantastic.
That's back in the day.
Lou Dix.
And you got to keep in mind when you all say back in the day, things have changed.
He's 29.
I understand, but things have changed in the past 10, 15 years because you got to keep in mind. If we had a fight, like you said, you go in the backyard, you figure it out, all right? Or somebody at school bothered me, I get with him. But now kids are going home saying, I got bullied at school, I'm shooting class A, B, and C, and I'm going to kill the teacher tomorrow, and I'm going to get it on Facebook and tell everybody. We didn't do that because I'm going to tell you one thing. If somebody else said something crazy, like he got beat up, well, man, I'm going to shoot his mama. We made sure we went and told his mama, hey, he's going to go shoot your son. You better go talk to that mother. And we don't have that kind of policing
to me, those
now.
are isolated incidents for the children to go and shoot up the school or whatever. That's why it's such
it's isolated until it's your family.
Occurrence.
But
an everyday occurrence is your mama is so fat, whatever the joke may be. Your mama is so old.
Okay, so if you hear that everyday comment, your mother's so fat for 10 days or 6 weeks, that's going to make the kids who's fragile say, I'm going to come out and shoot somebody. You say, now. It's not when it's your kid.
Brandy?
I mean, I was just going to actually say exactly what Lou said about bullying. Nowadays kids bring weapons to school and they start shooting people back. Because kids, there are some kids that feel like they've been picked on and the pressure builds. Maybe it's these kids that are on all these medications. I don't know, that have all kinds of other emotional problems that they're dealing with, and it leads to bigger problems like that.
But let me say this. It is a tragedy. I'm not condoning for another child to bully another child. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. And it's a tragedy. I mean, I'm watching CNN and the kid that was 14 and made a YouTube video, then several days later he took his own life. That's a tragedy. Any life that's gone in that one single life is a tragedy, and it ruins a neighborhood, it ruins a family, it ruins a community. That's a tragic death. I know that. But what we're talking about is not as, I'm reading like this right here, if a kid is getting picked on. They ain't saying nobody's getting killed. They say a kid is getting picked on and he don't like it. The kid can be transferred to another school, or, the other kid can be kicked out of school. I'm talking about these incidents. Of course, there will be isolated incidents. I knew it when I was a kid. There was a guy who had a fist fight. He didn't win, and he came back and he killed the kid that killed him. These things have been happening since the beginning of time. Cain killed Abel. We already know these things are going to happen. These things happen. But we just talking about a normal bullying. I don't like Zena. I'm trying to holler at Zena. I don't like her. She don't like me. And she's calling me all kind of ugly names. And I'm calling her the green-eyed devil.
Well, I think that's different than bullying. Because I think that you can have two kids that may not like each other, and they have a thing going back and forth. But I think bullying a lot of times happens most of the time when there's a kid who really isn't necessarily bothering anybody else, just going on in their existence, and may be perceived as a weaker kid, or for whatever reason, or may have some outstanding trait that kids just kind of go in on them all the time, and especially when that kid is not really kind of trying to inflict any harm on anybody else.
Remember you went to school, you had the pee boy. You always had some kid in school that smelled like a pot of piss. You teased the pee boy. I don't think I should, and kids do that.
Well, but even now, Johnny Mac, you got to look at it. Okay, that was the pee boy. Now you have the boy that has two dads as his parents. So it's the same thing. So now you got a boy who's going to the school, and both his dads are his parents. Well, that's bullying. And also, you got to keep it. There's not such thing as what we said. You said normal bullying. There's no such thing as normal bullying anymore because things have been taken to such a high level to where it's not normal.
Like these kids,
we had bullying training, but we had bullying.
Like these kids have been raised by wolves.
No, when you were growing up, Johnny Mac, we had bullying training. The first people that bullied you was your family, your mom, your uncle, your auntie. So by the time we got out to the real world, we were trained bullying. I mean, my dad would say something, or my uncle would say something. Boy, what kind of no? Boy, you so big. Or the daughter, the girls. Oh, that girl getting fat. She better lose some weight. Well, that's stuff you heard in the house.
Right.
And so by the time you got out to school, somebody saying something to you like, my uncle already said that, punk. You had a comeback for it already.
Right.
Now a kid draw a straight line crooked, and parents say, that's great art. They teach you not to say that.
Okay.
You're supposed to say, that line could be better.
Yeah.
But now people are saying, that's great art. So when the kid gets in school and his artwork is sorry, and the kids say, that art's sorry, he's been bullied.
Yeah.
And
okay,
that's not.
so you agree with what I'm saying?
No, because it's not. What I'm saying is that's no. I don't. I would never agree with you. Never.
We're gonna go to Michigan. We got my man Willie. Hey, pimps ain't perfect. Players fuck up. Willie, what up, Willie?
So, Johnny Mac, Lewis Dix, what's going on?
What's up, brother? How you feel?
What about Brandy and Zena?
Y'all have nothing to say.
Y'all doing, ladies?
You
Just gotta
never
admit, both of
speak.
y'all real beautiful. Anyway,
That's all they can say about y'all. Y'all real beautiful.
Yeah,
That's all we need to hear.
I know.
that's all I say.
And
Go
that's
ahead.
going to get old.
Go ahead, Willie.
Like
anyway,
you.
about the whole bullying thing. I was a student. I was a black student in a predominantly white school, and you know, as a kid, I got picked on because I was different. But you know what I'm saying? My father, he was from Chicago. He was the type of person that would always tell us, you know, don't let nobody punk you because, you know, this is what happens when you get into the real world.
Right.
They fuck you then. So, I mean, I was never the person to, you know what I'm saying, let somebody bully me, but I was never the person either to do the bullying at all. And, like, with kids now, I mean, it all comes down to how they parents come across to them, you know, whether the kid is doing the bullying or the kid is getting bullied. You have to sit down with that kid and actually talk to him, and I don't think that's what the parents are doing now. You know, I'm only 25, but I mean, I've experienced my thing with bullying.
So, and thank you for the phone call, Willie. Not meaning to cut you off, but as I read the rest of this, it says a third of boys and girls in the 7th grade reported that they have been afraid of being beaten up once or more while at school in 2008. You know, and I think as you know, as an adult, we should never resort to violence. But these kids, these are children. That's what they do. There's not a person in here, Zena, who's a very nice, sweet, meek young lady, Brandy, who's a nice, sweet, meek young lady, and Lou Dix, who's a meek young lady. You cannot tell me that even in your meekness, there was a confrontation that you had to resolve. Well, either girls, y'all friends today, and on Monday you can't stand each other. That's what happens. That's not a form of bullying. I'm like Lou Dix. We have to. I taught my sons, if somebody hit you, hit them back.
Right.
If they screaming and cussing, I always taught them you should be the first one to get hit. You should do the first hitting. Don't let nobody hit you. If you can't talk your way out of the situation, if you get cornered, you should strike first. The reason why I learned boxing, because I was a kid and I saw the karate move, and I told my dad, remember Bruce Lee, I told my father I want to take karate lessons. And my dad had a 3rd grade education. You don't need no karate. That's self-defense. I want you on the offense.
You need
and
karate,
he
baby.
taught me. He took me down to Oakland. Remember the Oakland boxing gym? I was a kid catching that AC Transit for boxing lessons. I didn't even get a ride from my father and my mother to go take boxing lessons. Get your ass on the bus, go take your boxing lessons, and you come straight home. And this is me too, we are weakening our children.
No, you have to teach
There's
your
a
kids
documentary called The
self-defense. I definitely
Wussification
believe
of
that.
America. We are weakening our children. My daughter right now, she told me, I know how to defend myself. I'm supposed to say, if somebody hits you, hit them back. Don't start nothing. Don't you go out and start anything. But if you can't avoid it, this cat got you cornered, you got to do something.
Well, I agree. I think the one thing that every parent should do, and we did it, is you and your kids should take self-defense. You got to teach them, and we did it because the bottom line is nothing more important than a kid being able to defend themselves.
You have to defend
Kid
yourself.
knows that I can handle this.
And
So
ladies,
when I took mine,
ladies, I mean, girls picked on you. You know,
All the
Brandon,
time.
you had a big booty. I'm quite sure they teased
No,
you.
I didn't have a big booty when I was a kid. I was actually very skinny, straight up
yeah,
and down.
now it's wide.
Shut up, Louis Dix.
Where'd you get that from?
So it came on after about 18.
They had a sale at JCPenney, they had a booty sale.
Burger
You
King,
know,
McDonald's.
Actually, I was picked on for the opposite. I was actually told that I had a booty like a white girl when I was a kid because I was actually just very
Right.
tall and thin. Anywho, and yeah, there was every day at least a group of girls about twice my size that were ready and willing, and always had something to say, you know, to kick my ass. But I grew up in a black neighborhood. Part of the reason they were threatening because they said I sounded like a white girl, or because, you know, I was making good grades, which is really retarded.
But that's what kids do. They
but,
pick
you know,
on you for any reason.
It was a part of the thing. Now, I wasn't gonna go and kill myself over it. I particularly wasn't gonna get into a fight unless, of course, it went down to that. I was never afraid to go that route.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's just normal kid shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that maybe even growing up in a black neighborhood, like it was kind of understood. You don't go home crying saying that, you know, somebody fought you.
Right.
You know, in my neighborhood, parents would tell their kids, like, you know, if you don't hit them back, I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Yep.
You know what I
you get
mean?
in trouble for not fighting
so it's like
back.
I kind of
You show up without your ponytail. Now your mama's mad because she done wasted some good hair.
now they say, hey, if you don't go shoot him, I'm gonna shoot you.
We're about to go to Tennessee. We got a female on the line, the sweet thing named Miss Francis. How you doing, Francis?
Tennessee.
Francis? Okay,
Francis
maybe I
from
shouldn't have called her
Tennessee.
sweet.
Hey, what about you, Zena?
Zena, you ever got picked on or bullied?
I do remember something happening. It was like 3rd or 4th grade, but I was very young. I don't fully remember.
Yeah, most people are
But
young
I
in the
know-
3rd or 4th grade.
What you say?
Most people are young in the 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
saying,
funny.
like,
I was
it's
27
so
in
far
the
back
third.
that I can't fully remember, but I do remember me and a girl having an issue, but I remember later on, like 5th, 6th grade, we ended up being friends and being cool. So I'm sure we worked it out, whatever the situation was, but it wasn't nothing serious.
Let me ask you this. What is bullying? What is bullying?
I just feel like it's being
what is
picked
bullying
on.
today? Somebody picked on
I mean,
you.
back in the day, I feel like kids were picked on. Like, other kids would pick on kids. Now, today, they've titled it bullying.
What do you mean by picked on? What do you mean?
I don't know.
I don't know, but
Explain.
here's what. Speaking
Are they
of
playing the
bullying
dozens?
today,
They're talking about the Brandy had a skinny booty.
A skinny
I'm
booty.
sorry.
Yeah, to
Before-
me, it's like picked on. You getting picked on for something. Somebody talking about you or saying something about you or
Ain't no
your
fucking
family or
bullying.
just anything. That's what I'm saying. To me, it's called, I'm like, oh, they just picking on her or whatever. But nowadays, it's titled bullying,
Well-
and they make bullying to this huge thing.
And
Okay.
I think the thing that's
Brandon.
been really big lately is what they're calling cyberbullying, and what used to be just something that kind of happened in the schoolyard amongst a few people. You know, now, say for instance, if there have been instances where a kid has been accused of being gay, and they might have found some video or posted some naked pictures, and they put that on the internet. So now this child is subjected to humiliation, not only in their small circle of friends, but throughout the school, throughout the county, throughout their neighborhood, throughout, you know, the world even. And it's cyberbullying, and I think that's a couple of instances where children
Right.
have gone further and like committed suicide because, you know, they've been absolutely completely humiliated.
Lou Dix?
No, I was just going to say that everybody's. There was a guy who was like 6'3". Every day in class, I was in 10th grade. Used to just come at me. Finally, I just had to swing. I just kept swinging
You
and
hit him
swinging.
with your purse?
No, I swung and swung and swung. Now, I had to do this this cat whipped my behind. But once I stood up to him and took him down, hey, it was like, I mean, everybody knew I lost. But bottom line was
I
this
figured.
cat
The fact that
every
you stood up
day.
for yourself.
Every
Right.
day you just have that one point. But again, I didn't have to worry about him coming back with a Glock. Because I knew him. I knew the neighborhood he was from.
Right.
It was just nobody stood up for him. And we're at a point now, if these kids don't start depending on each other to get that bully out, you're going to be in trouble. You got to come together. Become your gang and beat them up.
Yo, we're going to take a quick break right quick. The Foxxhole Sirius XM 98.